Welcome back to Health, Wellbeing and Lifestyle. And our first guest today is George Tintilis, somatic psychotherapist, and he's talking about releasing anxiety today. So welcome, George, and releasing. How do we release anxiety?
So today we're going to talk about anxiety, a big one for a lot of people. Last time we talked about trauma, and today I want to break up trauma in a bit more specific, more detail. We've got, with trauma, you've got two ends of the scale. You've got the hyperarousal, which is anxiety, and then you've got hypoarousal, to use a technical term, which is depression. We're going to talk about that next time. But today it's that hyperarousal, that fear, that anxiety, and the extremes when you're panicking and hysterical and freaking out of your body. Or when you get a phobia, that something triggers you and you're just scared. Public speaking is a big one. Very common for people to be terrified of public speaking. Had that myself, and healed it years ago. Otherwise I wouldn't be sitting here looking at a camera. But anxiety is a big one, and really what you want to be able to do is feel safe. Feel safe and feel in your body, and then get to the point where once you're in your body, to let that anxiety release. Because obviously there's something there in the past, some event, something happened in the past that triggered you, you blocked it off, you got on with your life, and it just stayed there. And then something happens in your life which triggers it, like public speaking, which is so big for a lot of people. If you have to all of a sudden talk in front of people, people freeze. Or when you get a phobia, if people go up heights or get on planes, or it can be anything. Something that triggers this anxiety. It could be a particular way your boss speaks to you, triggers you, and you're walking around with this anxiety and fear. And it's just one little part of your body, somewhere in your brain. There's some event in the past that basically you got scared. Like I mentioned with trauma, you thought, I've lost control here, I could get hurt, I could get injured, I could die here. And so it sets in. So how do you deal with that? Well, anxiety, the way it looks in the body is, it's high-pitched, and I'm scared, you're leaving your body. So the number one thing you want to do is feel safe. And to feel safe, you've got to come back into your body and center yourself. So you want to breathe, again, back to that mindfulness, back to that body-based mindfulness, closing your eyes, that meditation style, where you close your eyes, come back down, and you want to feel your belly breathing. Not the chest breathing, which is what anxiety normally does, and your heart's racing. You want that belly breathing, because we lose our belly, we lose our legs. So you want to crunch your toes, feel your toes, press your feet into the ground, ground yourself, and breathe into your belly and start to feel yourself in your belly, not up here, high pitch, where you're ready to just leave your body and be above it because that anxiety is taking over. And to feel safe. So you want to feel your body again, like I mentioned with trauma, and calm down. You want to calm down and really, so your voice can then drop. And then once you access it, then the trauma response happens. Once you're back down in your belly, then you're going to get the little twitches and little shakes, and you want to let them happen. Let them happen, and then your body will just diffuse, discharge the flight response. Interval training is good, exercise is good, going for a run if you get anxious is very good. Work it off, and because your body just wants to run, flee from this event that, whatever it was, triggered you, and you may not even remember the event. Most of the time you don't, because it's subconscious. And again, most of them go back to childhood. Something happened, present moment triggered it, work it out. So just run on the spot, or if you've got a stationary bike, or dancing it off helps. Highly recommend everyone dances at least once a week. But this time it's movement to get the flight out of your body, and very important, very important.
That's huge for us, isn't it? Movement and breathing. That comes up in exercise, or sort of a lot of sports. They tell you to do that with the movement, to take the breaths, that rhythmic breathing.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, it's crucial to life. I mean, there's a certain way of breathing deeply where you're coming fully into your body, because you want oxygen to go through your whole nervous system. And in anxiety, it leaves your legs. You're shallow breathing, and you're basically cutting off circulation. And then if you start to worry as well, if you're in your head, that just doubles it. So you've got to clear out the worry by meditating, coming down into your belly, even running on the spot, go for a walk, And look at objects as well. That's a good one also, is to look around the room to get present in the moment, because you'll be going off this part of your body that has the anxiety will be going off thinking the worst thing is going to happen. Go for a walk and notice objects and even name them to get you present just in this moment, to get out of that future worry of what might happen and any memory of that trauma that occurred back that caused the original trauma, which actually isn't an issue now because you're a full adult. And again, like I said before, mostly happens in childhood. But that little part of you that's blocked off is terrified, could be panicking. So you want to feel your body, go for a walk, even go for a run for 10, 20 seconds, just work it off. It discharges the flight response, and then you can relax, put a blanket around you. If you have a bath, take a bath is really powerful because you've got water all over your body. Most people don't have baths these days, but you can do shower therapy. Stay under the shower a long time, very powerful, because you're getting the touch you need and you're getting present in the moment to let that part of you that's terrified to realise it's actually safe. There's actually not an issue here. What you're about to do, whatever's triggered you, isn't that bad, and you just want to calm down. And again, not have to take a pill to do it naturally, and that's the best way. That's the best way. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
And for more information on George and releasing anxiety, then please go to our website healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. Welcome back, and next we have Kaveri Sequeira, certified health coach and author, and today she's talking about eating seasonally. So Kaveri, welcome back.
Thank you, Linda. Great to be back.
And seasonal eating today. So why do we eat seasonally? Why should we eat seasonally?
Yes, Linda. So we have different seasons in nature. And if we look at nature and how nature works and how animals in nature works, we will get a good indication of how they eat and how their eating habits change with the different seasons as well. Like if you look at winter, or rather autumn, you would see like squirrels moving around collecting all the nuts and anything that's available, because they're actually about to go into dormancy, because in winter there is nothing. They recognize that that's happening. So that's a good behavior of a species that we can look at. In spring, there's new beginnings. There's a lot of leafy green vegetables after a really cold, hard winter. And there's a lot of leafy green vegetables, a lot of plants and animals. They're all moving around because, they can tell that it's in time for new beginnings. In summer, there's a lot of summer berries and even more plants and vegetables, and it's great. In autumn, you have a lot of fruit and, a lot of vegetables available. I'm talking about the African seasons now, and that's how we evolved. That's where we evolved, and that was representative of what nature provided at that time, and we ate like that as a species. But now we don't eat like that, because for the simple fact, in the modern world we have everything available to us at all times, and that means that we're not entirely sure what to eat when. It's more of a convenience thing. For example, apple season in Australia is in summer, but apples are available right through the year. Now, whilst that's really awesome and that's really convenient, nature would have enforced that we didn't have apples for at least 9 months of the year. But we're not eating seasonally, and that causes a imbalance in the way we live, and it adversely impacts our health. And that's why it's important to know about what those seasons are, how to eat seasonally, and how to align more to how things are in nature.
So, Kaveri, what happens if we don't eat seasonally then?
So we're basically not giving, for example, our pancreas work really hard to process sugar that we eat. Now, if you're not eating seasonally, we're basically not giving our pancreas a break from anything at all. So there are certain times in the year in nature, and I understand that there's different seasons in different countries in different parts of the world. My suggestion is try to eat what's locally available at that time and seasonally to your local area. Having said that, there are certain things that are like fruit actually that we recommend you take a break from, in a year, because in nature would have enforced it. Winter would have there would have been no fruit available. Naturally, we would have not eaten fruit. So the fact that we eat fruit right through the year is actually, even fruit, and even though it's good for you, it's not seasonal eating. And it's actually, when you give your body a break from even natural sugars, that helps your pancreas get a break, and that helps sort of, with your insulin levels and things like that. So there are different things that you can do to adapt, to what is local in your area. But that's just one example of, what happens when you don't do that. You're not giving your body a break to heal because you're eating the same food week in and week out. And plus you're not getting enough variety in your food, and that causes a bit of problem as well, because as you're aware, there's 6 different types of hungers, and variety hunger is one of them. And eating seasonally helps you get that variety as well, and get your body to have all the nutrients from varied sources. So that's the benefits. And if you don't do that, then you're missing out.
And Kaveri, then what would be your best advice for our viewers to take away with them today?
Absolutely. So the best advice I'd have is, look at your local seasons, get familiar with what your local fruit and vegetables are in season at that time of the year. Eat that, because you don't want to be eating an apple that's been imported from California 6 months ago, because it's their apple season. You want to be eating apples when it's your apple season. So go and get curious about that and discover it. You might find a new fruit or vegetable that you've never eaten before, and you might actually like it. So that's my biggest top tip on this. My other tip is to give even things like fruit a break, because our body has 2 types of energy sources. One is sugar and one is fat. And sugar basically is something that you can use up immediately, and your body first goes to that. But if you took a break from that sugar, even natural sugars, you would go into a fat burning mode, which actually helps a lot with weight loss. I also recommend that you take a break from things like grain and dairy, because they cause a lot of intolerances and allergies. So if you are eating them, take a break from that. It'll actually help your body heal and get better.
Thanks so much, Kaveri.
Pleasure.
And for more information on Kaveri and seasonal eating, then please go to her webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au, and we'll go to break and see you back after the break with our next guest. Next we have Steve Hall, our holistic change coach, and he's back with us today talking about knowing yourself. So Steve, why is that important to know yourself?
Thanks, Linda. It's a great question, and I've delved into this a lot over the last couple of years. And why it's important for us to know ourselves is we believe we know ourselves as we go through life. And our beliefs are something that we trust and rely on, so we really think we know ourselves. And what I've learned that really surprised myself, what I needed to find out as well, because it was such a game changer in my life, is there's so much about myself that is in my unconscious or your subconscious that I had no idea about whatsoever, which influenced what I did, it influenced the results I was getting, it influenced how I was feeling about life, whether I was happy, whether I felt like I was in control, whether I felt like I was doing what I wanted to do in life. All these things I never really considered at a deep level. And so knowing myself was so important to me. I think it was Socrates said it originally, know thyself. And it's been mentioned all through history by philosophers up until now, because it is so important that we truly understand what's going on in our subconscious and our conscious, and that they align and take us to where we want to go.
So what does it actually mean then? What does knowing yourself mean?
Yeah, well, this is even deeper. Because what does that look like? Sometimes we think we know ourselves, but what we're understanding is what we believe is true about ourselves, and quite often it's just what we've gotten used to. It's our habit of knowing ourselves. It's what everyone else tells us we're like as well. And in life we can spend a lot of time and energy wondering and worrying what other people think of us. And we try and shape our life in a way that people won't do that. And so sometimes we even end up trying to hide. I think it was Thoreau said that a vast majority of people live their life in quiet desperation because they're never really knowing themselves. You know, they're living lives according to other people and they're not happy. And it's so important that we can dig down to truly understand who we are, you know, and what really lights us up, what brings out the best in us, and what are we here for? You know, what's our purpose? A lot of the time we can get hung up living other people's lives and thinking that's our purpose. But when you really know yourself, you understand why you're here and what you've got to do, which is a whole different feeling.
I suppose we have lots of spoken about now about heart-mind connection. So that brings us more into our feeling space.
Very, very much. And that's when you start feeling that you're getting close to understanding more about yourself. That's when you start wondering about your feelings and your emotions, because here's the good thing about our feelings and our emotions is they're like a warning, or not really a warning system, but a signal system to us. They tell us when we're not happy, when we're not aligned, when we're not living according to our purpose or understanding ourselves. They show up in our feelings. You know, if you're not happy, Linda, if you're not feeling fulfilled, if you're feeling overwhelmed, and all these things that plague us a lot through our lives, these are all our emotions telling us. They're saying, hey, you're not happy. You're not really aligned. You're not digging into who you really are. So take a look, learn to understand who we are, and then take some action to change. And really, when you understand who you are and what core values you hold in your heart and what you really want to achieve, it's sort of the alignment takes care of itself. You start really getting energized to do what it is that turns you on, you know, and it brings meaning to your life. You get out of bed with a sense of purpose, and it's adds meaning to your life. It's the best thing you can do. It's a real game changer.
So the feeling space is that what you've, is it like working out the difference in the feelings? Does that make a difference?
Well, it's understanding. The best thing you can do is whenever you're feeling an emotion, especially if it's one that you wish wasn't there, for example, sadness or jealousy or anger, sometimes we wish them away. Oh, we don't want to experience them, but it's the opposite. Instead of wishing them away, it's like understanding what it is. So first you put a name to it. I'm feeling fear at the moment. Why? Welcome in, and you welcome that feeling. So you own it. You go, this is me sending myself a message. So you welcome the feeling in and you try and understand it. In a moment of meditation or just with your eyes closed, you can ask that emotion, what are you trying to tell me? What are you here for? What's your message? And if you can just relax and allow it to be there, it's quite strange, but all of a sudden you start getting and understanding why it's there. And then you start seeing what it's trying to tell you. It's not trying to control your life, it's just giving you a message. When you listen, the feeling disappears and leaves you with an understanding. Now I understand why it's there. And all of a sudden you start understanding what I need to do so it doesn't keep reminding me that I'm doing something like that. And it starts helping you to take control of your life, to get that alignment I was talking about before. And alignment really is just when we understand what our values are and what our purpose in life is, it's getting an alignment between those two so that our values point us towards what we ultimately want to achieve. And that's all the alignment is. It just means you're going in one direction, everything, all your energy supports you to get to where you want to go. And no longer are you shedding energy left, right and centre in areas that are not going to come back and support you, you know. So the alignment and knowing thyself and feeling your feelings, they're all very important, so important.
And so what would your best advice be for our viewers?
Yeah, look, I've got 3 tips for people who are wondering now after listening to what we've been talking about. And that would be, 3 questions you can ask yourself. What am I here for? What am I really here for on this planet? You know, we each bring something unique. And do you understand what it is about you that is different or special? What is it about you that the world hasn't seen yet? Or maybe even yourself that you haven't really expressed. You know there's more to you, but you don't know what it is. That's question 1. Question 2 would be, what are you most passionate about? Start writing them down. What is it that lights you up? It can be as simple as fun, it can be love, it can be connection, whatever. Just start writing down. Every time you notice something that you really love and you used to love when you were a child, start writing them down and understanding why they're there and include them back in your life. Quite often we put those things to one side. And the third one would be figure out how to apply both these things in your life. Just be more consciously aware of them and ask myself at the end of every day, what am I proud of that I did today and what made me smile? And you go to sleep with that. So when you wake up in the morning, you've got an intention to set. It's like, I'm going to do more of that today. and they're the 3 things.
Thanks so much, Steve, for that.
Welcome, Linda.
And for more information on knowing yourself and Steve Hall, then please go to his webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. And for now, we'll say goodbye until next week.